lot of business owners get hung up on creating the curriculum for their event agenda. And Yifat's got this super simple, fabulous way of helping us get past that block. And I can't wait for you to hear it. Inquiring minds want to know, how are entrepreneurs like us daring bravely to build a stage, ditch the sweatpants, and step up to the mic? How do we create our own transformative events so we can get our message out into the world in a bigger way that's not only profitable, but it's actually something we can be proud of? That's the question, and the answers are inside this podcast. My name is Sarah Pfeiffer. Welcome to Green Room Central. Hey, it's Sarah. I have an invitation for you right now. You can join entrepreneurs from across the globe who share a passion for hosting their own events. Become part of the community that inspires and cheers you on over at greenroomcentral.com. Today I brought Yifat Cohen, Wizard of Jackpot Moments, into Green Room Central Studios. She runs an engagement marketing business that helps entrepreneurs establish instant trust with their prospects and add an additional 10 to 20% to their bottom line without paying for more leads. She runs two types of events: her live call-in show, Leaders Rising Up, and intimate live workshops inside of her group coaching program. She believes that in our overly connected world, we are starving for connection, and those who provide that human connection at scale will win in the long run. Yifat, welcome. Say hello to Lynchpin Nation.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. Fun to be here.
Oh, thrilled to have you. I want to dive right in and ask you, what is the difference between a live stream and a static video? I think most people do live streams wrong, and you're going to set us straight.
Totally. So it's really interesting, right? Because people are taking what they've done for years and now just using the same tools to keep doing the same exact thing. So if you're thinking about like marketing, the way it started from way at the beginning, right? It's always a one-way street. Either it's direct mail, I'm talking to you, newsletters, I'm talking to you, blogging, I'm talking to you, teleseminars, I'm talking to you, webinars, I'm talking to you, video, I'm talking to you, live stream, why? Are you talking to me? Live streams, we can talk to each other, right? But they just took another way of technology and just using it to, again, put themselves on the podium, broadcast, right? One-way situation, and then maybe respond to those people who comment. So the question to me is this: if you're not interacting with people live, why would I stop everything that I'm doing right now, watch you live, when I can just wait, watch it on my own time, twice as fast, skip the boring parts, and then just get the one thing that you're going to give me anyway? What's the difference between you going live, not talking to me at all, and me watching a video whenever I want to?
Solid gold advice, because I so often when someone shares their event vision with me for a virtual or in-person event, I have to stop them partway through and go, okay, wait, you haven't yet shared with me why it's important for me as the guest to drop everything and show up for you live. Like, right. You haven't hooked me yet.
Nothing,
it's a
right?
Big deal. It's a big deal to, even if it's a virtual event, it is a big deal to pause our regularly scheduled programming of our lives and show up for somebody live. It's our most precious gift, our time. And like you said, if I could just like watch the recording later while I'm folding laundry or on the Peloton, then why wouldn't I choose that option?
And you know, it's really interesting because now I watch everything as twice as fast. So people are very slowly talking to me, right? Everything's like slow motion. So if you can't get to the point, right away, then you lost me. Regardless of where I am, regardless of where it's live, regardless of the gimmicks and all that stuff, right? If I'm not a part of it, if I'm a passive viewer and not an active participant, there's no point in live, because so much technology, so many things can break down when you're doing live. There's no redos, right? Like, shit happens when you're going live, right? And so why do all these things when all you're gonna do is share a PowerPoint, right? Talk to me over the thing because you're the guy important to, you have something to say. And you wonder like, hey, how come only 20 people are watching? Dude, you're boring. Like,
Thank
spice it
you.
up.
Thank you for being brutally honest with us. But it's what we need to hear. It's
Yeah.
what we need to hear. All right. I want to move into 2022 for a little bit with you. And you have been saying that the biggest gold rush of 2022 is hidden right under our noses. I want to know, what is it?
So it's very interesting. And I think I played this game with you, but if I did, even play it with me again, right? So there's a Chinese dude. I played it with you, right? There's a
I don't
Chinese
think you've
dude.
played this one with me.
No? Okay. So there's a Chinese guy called the King of Lipstick, which is in itself kind of like, really? Guy putting lipstick and that's your thing? But he goes live. He has 40 million followers. He goes live to sell lipstick and related products. Okay. He's live for 12 hours, which, pee break. But he goes live for 12 hours, right? And he makes an insane amount of sales. So what do you think? Like, how much did he make in 12 hours of a live stream selling lipstick and lipstick products?
Oh my gosh. So you said like 40 million?
Yeah, 40 million. Yeah.
I can't even wrap my brain around that number, but I don't know. Let's say like I don't know. It's lipstick. It's not very high ticket.
I know.
I don't know, 1.5 million?
I know, right? Keep going up.
More?
Yeah.
4 million?
Keep going up.
What? I don't even know if I can get there. What? That's no 10.
$1.65 billion in 12 hours selling lipstick and lipstick products.
My mind's blown.
Right? I was like, I don't know anyone, anything where they made $1.5 billion in 12 hours of doing anything, live events, on stage, in person, like billions, right? Not 100 million, not 500 million, right? And so I'm like, okay, hold on a second. I know lives are powerful, really, really powerful. When you have the engagement and you do it right, it's like fantastic, but I didn't know it was that fantastic. Mm-hmm. So then I'm going and I'm looking at, okay, what else is happening there? So in China, apparently mayors are responsible for the production of their constituent. So when they're not doing good locally, the mayor is responsible for that. So one of the mayors goes out and helps a mango grower to sell mangoes on a live stream. Who wakes up in the morning and goes like, oh, I know what I need, 3 kilos of mango, right? He goes like,
or I've always woken up and said, yeah, I'm going to go buy mangoes online today. Like that's the first thing that's gone through my head.
How much do you think he sells on that one live stream? 30 tons of mango.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
a lot of mango, especially when you consider this is local, because like I'm not gonna ship mango to the next city or something like that, and it's one live stream with the mayor about mangoes. And again, nobody wakes up going like, dude, you know what I need? Mango, right? So looking at all that stuff, and I was like, I know I've done really well with lives, right? I helped my clients make $250,000 in 10 days or $100,000 in a weekend, but they had an audience and they had an offer, and it was a high ticket offer. It wasn't lipstick, it wasn't mangoes, right? Like it was big stuff. And I'm like, okay, so what's going on? Looking into that a little bit more. China has, since COVID, revamped the entire live streaming thing. So now there are warehouses, people in little, rooms decorated for that specific performer, and they're training them on how to do that. So retail is finding that in one live stream, they can outsell an entire week of retail products.
Wow.
Right? And they started selling financial services, houses. They don't even go to the house. They're in a room talking about the inventory that they have, and they're selling the houses on a live stream. And I'm like, okay, so then China, being China, going like, hey, why are we only doing it in China? Now they're coming to the US and they're starting to train people in the US. And I'm like, right, and nobody in the US notices, right? So these guys are making billions, right? There's an entire industry of people who are trained and know how to do live streams right and come here. So when we look at the US, Frank Kern You know Frank Kern,
Oh
big
yeah,
marketer,
love
right?
Frank. Yes.
Awesome guy, love him. He goes like he does a test and he goes like, let me sell my book the way that I sell it with ads,
Yes.
the same way. And then let me do some lives and sell the book. Outsold with the lives. And he goes and he does like, a whole workout and he goes like live streams outperform all marketing activities. But what are we busy with? Let me write social posts. Let me send an email. Let me do more videos. Let me get
Yes.
in YouTube. Right? So there's this entire gold rush happening right now. People are capitalizing on this entire thing, and most people go on live and broadcast. Let me use the same way that I'm doing YouTube videos on my live stream. Why? The whole point is the connection, the engagement, the active participant. Because once you do that, once you're engaging with your audience like that, they go like, sure, give me mango. Right? I need more lipstick.
Yeah, Ifat, I think the point here that I want Lynchpin Nation to take away is that people are not tired of hopping on another Zoom. They're not tired of hopping on another Instagram Live. They're not tired of virtual events. They're tired of being talked at.
Yes,
And we
exactly.
need to really recognize that the point of a virtual event, something that is live, is connection. I
Exactly.
mean, I think it's easy for us to get that concept in an in-person environment, but I think it has been easy for us to forget it in a virtual environment. That there are real human beings on either side of the devices, and that is not to be forgotten or taken lightly.
I love that you said that because this kind of goes into audience size, right? Every time I start talking about it, people are like, yeah, but this is just one of the promotional matrix. No, it's not promotions, it's connection, right? And then the next objection is like, yeah, but I don't have a big audience. I'm like, okay, let's focus on the audience of one. Because if you had only two contacts on your cell phone, Oprah and Joe Rogan, you're good. Right? Like, who needs tens of millions of things? I got the two most important people and I'm good. So, an audience of one, it's way more important to get a client from your live than to get a million impressions, right? Because we're business owners and we're doing something in order to build that connection and turn it into our income and the impact and the client and work.
Mm. Yeah, I was on a live stream last night with Jesse Itzler, and then Sarah Blakely popped in for a little bit too. It was such a treat. And one line that Jesse said, it was about planning for 2022. And one line that Jesse said that really stuck with me is more isn't better. Better is better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true, right? And we always forget. I was like, I think it's really funny because it seems like COVID has changed some things, and then we kind of like completely forget what they changed, because it's been a year ago. But when COVID first started, everybody was locked in their houses. Remember how much we missed these social interactions? Like people were like, loneliness went up, suicide went up, depression went up, right? People in Italy went out to the balconies to sing and stuff like that because we need that social connection. And yet when we come to promoting our business and growing our impact, we're like, connection? Let me go, do ads. Let me go get impressions. How many likes do I get? Nobody cares about that stuff. And at the end of the day, if God forbid something did happen like COVID, and you do end up completely sick on your deathbed or whatever, what matters, And so for me, for example, I started talking to my parents in Israel every day. It takes about 30 minutes to an hour. And I was like, oh, that's a lot of, I could be as the entrepreneur brain, right? I need to do all these things. But I'm like, no, no, no. It's my time with my parents. I don't know how long they have. I don't know how long I have, right? This time is precious to me, priceless, right? I'll never skip that. And I think when you start looking at your business like that, at your clients like that, then it goes like, okay, where can I build and how can I build the most connection that will ripple and will make the biggest impact? And I
Mm.
think lives are it, because with lives, you're scaling the human connection, right? You're scaling intimacy, as I call it.
Yeah, so I want to talk about how you use live streams in your business, how you've used them to grow a huge following and to really stand out, and what worked, and then a little bit into like one of my favorite things that you talk about, which is your worldview on trust and how to use that to stand out. And yeah, let's talk about your business and events for a minute.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys are newbies or have been around for a while or just starting out, but when I started with social media, it was back in college when Facebook came out, and it was cricket, like nobody except my mom was my biggest fan, right? And I'm like, I don't get this. Like, why am I not getting anything? And then Google Plus came out in beta, and I was one of the first 100 people to get invited. And if you guys are going like, Google, what? You're right. Right? Nobody got it. The only people that were on that platform were geeks like me. But I found my tribe for the first time ever. I'm there with the people that are just like me, tinkering and figuring and all that stuff. And Google, and then every time I figure out something, I write a post about here's what you can do. And so I became the G plus go-to gal. And when Google launched Hangouts on Air, which is basically Facebook Live and YouTube Live and everything you've seen today, I was the first one. I was one of the very first to get access to it in beta. And so I started interviewing like really amazing people, senior vice president of Walt Disney, former US ambassador to UN. I popped the Hangout cherry to all those marketers out there because none of them knew what it was. There was the first time. And that wasn't the big, that wasn't the big deal. So I built my entire show, my entire brand with one show on one platform that most people couldn't care less about, right? But the thing that built it is something that people still don't do today. And this is what I'm trying to preach in this hangout, in this podcast. I brought the audience in to speak with my guest in real time. And I had no idea what they're going to ask. So it was completely unscripted. So I'm there with the vice president of Walt Disney, marketing at Walt Disney. And my audience can come in and go like, hey, sir, so blah, 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 right? And these conversations were so fantastic and engaging that my engagement and my loyalty and my audience started building up. So there was one time where Guy Kawasaki and Gary Vaynerchuk were having their hangout at the same time I was having mine. I went on for 3 times longer. They went for like 30 minutes. I'm like an hour and a half, right? And at the end of it, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know we were at the same time. Probably I lost some of my audience because they're like, so I go look at the numbers. I got 4 times the views, the engagement, the comments, the shares. And I'm like, what? Okay, maybe I'm doing something here, right? Like, how am I getting more than Guy and Gary? Well, the reason I was getting more was because Guy and Gary were promoting their book to themselves, talking about themselves, how awesome the book launch is and what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. Whereas in my world, we were conversing with a former Google employee about the validity of Google Plus. But everybody came in and the conversation was so heated because he was like, Google Plus, and everybody's like, no, you don't understand. We're having this conversation, and fantastic conversations, right? Can I cuss in your podcast? I don't know.
I'll just bleep it out.
Bleep it out, right? But it was so good and so engaging, and traffic came to my site, and everything was fantastic. And from there, Google goes like, wow, look at this girl. She's teaching about Google Plus. She has this audience, this following. Let's hire her and fly her around the world to talk about our products. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. And then from there, I'm like, radio stations and working with the city of Austin and everything. And the whole difference, right, was the fact that I take my audience and I turn them from passive viewers to active participants. Come on in and say whatever you want. And so the biggest fear that most people, when I share this format with them, was like, but what if someone comes in and acts, right? And I was like, yeah, but Sarah, what if someone comes into a hall, right, or an event in real time and throws a pie in your face? It takes way longer to call security and get them out of the room. And by that time, everybody with their phones, right? Like, oh my God. Whereas when you do it online, all you have to do is kick them off. And that's it, they're done, right? And there are measures and stuff that you can put in place. So it's a lot more secure than it is to just do a live event in a hotel.
Sure. So talk to me a little bit about how you use trust to stand out.
Exactly that way, right? Because right now we don't know who to trust. Since COVID started, Do I wear a mask? Do I not wear a mask? Do I get a vaccine? Do I not get a vaccine? Do you want to, we don't trust anyone. We only trust the people that we already know, that we have a relationship with, right? And that we know kind of like us, right? Because this whole COVID thing became an identity. So if we're doing this live, if we're doing these videos and this content and all that stuff and not engaging with people, we're just another talking head. If we bring them in and we start having a conversation face to face in real time, there's no gotcha questions because you know what you're doing. And you're actually starting to give them a win. I call that a jackpot moment, right? Someone comes in and goes like, hey, Fat, I'm struggling with getting connection, visibility, sales to my thing. I'm like, okay, great. Tell me about your business. Live in front of everybody, right? You come in, you pick my event for free, and I give you a win. And then you go away and you go like, holy, it actually worked. This is great. I guess everything else she's saying is also true because we work together. So the trust is not being built solely with content because content is already out there. All the information you've seen, what's his name? Superman. What's his name? Henry Clive something, the actor that plays Superman.
Okay.
He went on Colbert and Colbert goes like, so you built your own PC from scratch? He's like, yeah. He's like, why? It's like, because I wanted the experience of doing it. He's like, how do you know how to do it? He's like, YouTube. There's this guy, right? So everything you want is already on YouTube. Nobody needs another course, another thing. What we need is like, okay, there are 10 ways to do one thing. Which one of those apply to what I'm trying to do right now at this moment? And if you come in and go like, hey, forget all that stuff, just take this one little thing, go do that, and you'll get the result. Immediately, I'm a trusted advisor and not another marketer or a salesperson or, you know, a woo-woo that made her money by telling other people how they can make their money, by telling other people how they can make their money.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So tell me, what types of events do you host right now?
I host my show again, like the same format, where you guys can come in and get your questions about marketing and sales answered in real time. I'm doing it with a friend of mine, Josh Bernson. It's called Leaders Rising Up because we believe that there's a new kind of leadership that is needed in this time. So that's the virtual one. I have my own community, Action Heroes community, where we meet weekly and we're playing and it's gamified and we have all kinds of challenges and stuff like that to help them build their business. And every once in a while, before COVID, we were doing live in-person workshops where you actually listen to the information and then you go apply it. And then you listen to information and you go apply it. Those have been working pretty well because people, like you said, right? It's not to hear the whole thing. It's actually how do I become a participant in an event? That seems to be a lot of fun because people miss the connection. They love going into break rooms. They love trying to figure out how to do things together. And it gives you a sense of community, like, wow, we've been through this journey together, right? We kind of cracked this stuff together. So that's fun.
Yeah, I think that people can't underestimate the value of community when they host events.
Yeah.
People, you know, I think people come for one reason, but that they end up staying for another. You know, if you're doing kind of like a mastermind, for example, like they came maybe to meet you or learn something that you know, but when you do it right, they're staying because of the community that you created, that, you know, the serendipity of the room, the peers that kind of think the same and have the same aspirations, and it's super valuable.
You just brought up a really great point that I think a lot of people are missing out when they say community. There's a difference between community and a fan club. And what you describe right now is a community. It's the serendipity between the members. It's the connection between the members. So even if the creator leaves for 6 months, it's still a community, right? Because they're connected to each other. Most groups and Facebook groups and clubs and stuff like that out there are very much fan clubs, right? If Brendan Burchard doesn't show up, nobody else does because they're not connected. They don't know each other. If the guests don't show up, then nobody shows up. It's more of a course or like, you know, like a post and comments on it. But unless the members of the community are connected, it's not a community.
Yeah, you brought up Brendan Burchard, one of my favorite mentors, and I love how he talks about fan clubs. He says you do not want raving fans.
Yeah.
You want connoisseurs. You want people who appreciate and value what you're offering so much that they become ambassadors themselves. And a sommelier, for example, like you don't want raving fans because they're not connected to each other, they're connected to you. And like you
As
said,
flattering as it is.
if you wanted to depart,
Right.
you want the community to run itself. And the same goes in an event environment. That when done right, the community still wants to stay connected, and that will make you so much more valuable as a leader. As a leader, uh, yeah, incredibly
There's
valuable.
another good thing that an important thing I think relevant to where we are right now is that there's a migration because of privacy breaches by Facebook and other technology companies. There's a migration into private groups, right, and more uh, single-minded communities, right, where people connect based on the shared passions and ideas and stuff like that. And I think this is a huge opportunity that if you're not paying attention to right now and you're not building your own community right now, you're going to be really, really sorry in a year or two that you didn't.
Hey, I don't want you to miss out. Did you know that this conversation always continues inside the Lynchpin Nation community? It's a free, modern discussion forum exclusively for Green Room Central listeners that will have a profound impact on the way you look at events in your business. Get answers to your biggest questions, hear behind the scenes nuggets from event leaders, and get access to helpful templates, guides, and checklists as you start and scale events in your business. Be part of the daily discussion with entrepreneurs just like you. You can join for free over at greenroomcentral.com. I'll see you inside. Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. And that is why I am starting one myself. Uh, so I want to shift gears just a little bit. You and I have chatted about building casinos in the past, and I want you to share that philosophy here because it just kind of wowed me, and I want everyone here in Lynchpin Nation to hear about it.
So if you recall my story from like 5 minutes ago, where I built my entire brand on Google Plus, then you probably know that 2 years ago Google had a bowel movement, decided to shut down Google Plus, and 7 years of content and relationship and branding and ranking just disappeared, right? Um, and so from there, I have this new philosophy. Well, I had that philosophy in Google Plus, which is why I was driving people to my site. But even more so, don't build your home on rented properties, or don't build all your home on rented properties. And when you're doing right now, most people are like, find me on YouTube, subscribe and like, um, follow me on Facebook, find me on LinkedIn. No, all this stuff is other people casino. So what you're doing, if you're going live and you're going live in YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and all that stuff, and you do it at the same time, fantastic. But then you always have to bring them back to your own properties. You have to own your audience. And the way to do that is to give them what I call the jackpot moment, right? That we talked about in live. They coming in, they're talking to you in real time, you're giving them a win. Everybody sees that win, they're going like, wow, choo-choo, right? I got a jackpot moment. And what does everybody else want? Same success, the same wins that they just saw someone else get. And then they're coming to your home, your own property, your own website, engage with you. You get the wins, you give wins again, right? You delight. And as they like the delightness, right? We say we delight for free, and continued delight is what they're paying for. But they have to get delighted first. And everybody else sees that you are the one who's like handing out these wins, bringing them to your own casino. Because otherwise, if they're playing somewhere else, it's going to be very hard to bring them in. It's going to be very hard to monetize them. you're going to be going to other people casinos, seeing them spending their money over there and going like, no, 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 but my casino is really awesome. Come over here. Right? So the entire strategy has to be, how do I build my home on my own properties while I'm leveraging where everybody else is? And the easiest way to do that is if everybody is hearing the cha-ching from your casino while they're wasting their money everywhere else, they're going like, hey, over there, the money, I hear the coins falling. Let's go get to where the coins are. And they're coming to your own home, and you start owning your own audience.
Yeah, you mentioned jackpot moments, when you're able to get a win for somebody while you're live together, and I want to underline that, because that trick, if you will, that tactic is so valuable inside of a virtual event, inside of an in-person event, when you're making an offer. So I always teach that when you make an offer, after that in the event should always be a hot seat situation, where you're offering the opportunity to coach people live, and those jackpot moments are happening, and you're coaching somebody one-on-one, but the audience, all of your guests, are watching, and it allows the guests to have this vision of themselves in that seat down the road, getting transformed, having that aha, getting that jackpot moment themselves. So when they see you do it with somebody else, they can picture themselves in that same space, and that makes the your conversion ratios for your offer inside of your event that much higher.
Totally. I had one of my previous coaches. I was volunteering at one of his events, and so he had an event in Austin, and I went there, and there were about 30-40 people in a room, and he walks down and he goes like, okay, it was a 2-day event, and he's like, okay, we're gonna get money from your email list right now. I'm just gonna go one by one, and you tell me what you do, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what email to send, right? And he was like this quick, right? Like, hey, what are you selling? What that stuff? Okay, send this. What are you selling? What that stuff? Send this, right? The next day he comes back, who got offers? Who got some sales? I got 2, I got 5, I got 6. And I was like, whoa. And then he goes like, okay, so if you want to continue doing that, here's my program, 10K. Psh, I'm in. I just saw what happened, right? To all these guys. And I was in, even though I hired a coach for 10K before, and he was all full of it. And I was like, never again, right? I don't need anyone. And then I come in and I was like, oh my God, look at that. Not only is he fast, not only is he accurate, but like, look how he switched for every person, and how he's able to kind of like, without manipulation, give you a good sales hook in an email. I was like, I want to work with that. So but the problem is what he did, it's kind of like what happened in Vegas stayed in Vegas, because nobody outside that room knew that people were getting wins and jackpots and going like, wow, this is so awesome, right? All I'm saying is let's shift that. What happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. You want everybody to see all the people in your casino getting jackpots, because once they do, they're going like exactly what you said, Sarah. I want that. I want that. Here's my offer. Okay, yeah, super easy. And the nice part about the whole thing, you don't have to go around going like, I'm so smart, I can do this. Look, people see you helping, getting result in real time. You take that live, and now you repurpose it for everything else. So no more content creation, no more slaving over articles, no more like, oh, what should I write about? Take that same live session, 15, 30 minutes, turn that into videos, audios, podcasts, memes, social posts, images, everything, right? You got tons of content. So imagine what your life will look like if you didn't have to create content anymore. If all you did was connect with people, give them wins, and then say, you want more wins? Here's my casino. Let's do it.
Exactly. So why is your casino, your community, called Action Heroes?
Because I got tired, honestly, of people who want things but don't want to take action to achieve them, right? And I'm like, you're in this community if you're going to take consistent action towards your dream, because then you get what you want. I get to enjoy the fact that you got what you want, and that gives meaning to my life. and other people see that you're getting what you want, and then it's internal marketing, right? Like inbound marketing. I don't need to go out and tell everybody, because you're going out telling everybody who helped you get your dreams. So the hardest thing I think coaches have and consultants is trying to push a wet noodle, right? I want to do it. I want to do it. Do you? Come on, because if you did, you're going to get there. And so my community is all about taking action. It's not about information. Like we said, all the information is out there on YouTube. You don't need me to give you another course. In reality, my course is kind of like the obstacle to your results, right? If you're saying, I'm here and I want to get here, and I'm saying, great, now here's 50 hours of video, you're like, right? But if I can just give you one thing to go take action on, and now you're here, and then one thing, and now you're here, and one thing, when you're here, slowly moving towards your desired results, and that's really what you want. You don't want more information. You need a trusted advisor, someone to hold the bike for you. But you have to decide that you're going to get on the bike to begin with and start pedaling yourself as I hold your bike seat. Otherwise, it's not, there's nothing to do together. Go get convinced that you want to ride a bike. If you do, come here, we'll help you do it.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I think there's no better teacher than taking action.
Yeah.
And love that you're creating a community of action takers, which are naturally people who just want to continue to level up and ask questions, learn, do, get better. And I think that's probably why they want to stay in your community too, is because you're careful with your curation of making sure that the right people are in the room. And that's so important when we're figuring out like who we're letting in to as a registrant for our events, because when you just let everybody in, yes, you may have a full room, but the magic is not gonna happen.
Magic. It's all about the magic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been so fun. I want to switch into our little rapid fire segment here. And my first question for you is, what is your mindset backstage and on stage? What do you say to yourself? Before you're going to be, in front of a big group of people speaking, like, what do you say to yourself? Because there's so many people in this community of listeners who are afraid to take that next step of being live with people. Like, they're really good at hiding behind funnels and social media and planned things.
There's a little system I developed. It's called the peanut butter and jelly method. And it's I know, right? You're like, peanut butter, what? And it really helps you get out of your head and into what you're doing. So for example, it's very unnatural for us to speak to a motionless camera. Nobody does it. Nobody does it successfully. If you look at Gary Vee, when he started Wine Library, there was a guy behind the camera. He wasn't talking to himself. Grant Cardone, he's in a studio. He's talking to people. Marie Forleo, she's in a studio. She's talking. None of the successful people have just started with like them and their phone talking to themselves and then hoping that something will happen. And there's a reason, because we need the cues, right? We need the non-verbal cues to know, are we on point or are we not on point? So when you're just trying to do it on yourself and you're on a podium and you're trying to explain something, how would you know if you're resonating if there's no one person there going like, yeah, I got you, or like, huh, like just what we did, right? Like what, right? Because if this was alive and I was commenting and you're asking a question, I'd be like, what do you mean? And now we're like in chat trying to explain to each other what you mean.
Yeah.
Instead, right, you bring them on and all your focus is on them. I want you to be able to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I need to tell you, hey, Sarah, go to the refrigerator or cupboard, bring up the bread. Watching you do it, right? Take 2 slices of bread, watching you do it. Now put the peanut butter on it. You're like, how? Oh, go get a knife, right? The thing, put a bit of, how do I, right? And now I'm watching you doing what I'm trying to teach you, and I'm watching how you're doing it and making sure that you're doing it right for you. So now it's no longer about me looking all awesome and everything. It's about, can I communicate what you need in order to end up with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? And by the end of it, what do you think? You're like, oh my God, she's a great cook. Because look at her. I didn't have to say, man, I went to your cooking school and I got 5 Michelin stars. All, who cares about that, right? She can teach me how to create souffle. I could never make that stuff, and now I can. So what I would tell you is move the focus away from yourself to someone else. And in order to do that, you have to talk to people in real time, face to face. And if you can't watch yourself in the on the video, I think there's a setting in Zoom that allows you not to see your own camera, so you don't have to look at yourself. So all you look at is the person that you're helping, and now you're just focusing on them and helping them get a jackpot moment, a peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I want you to share your best tip for filling events.
My best thing. Okay, so the internet has matured. We are beyond the point that webinars are exciting or speakers are great. Come listen to all my speaker panels and all that stuff, right? Because I can watch it twice as fast without you later on, right? So change that to a workshop, hands-on workshop. And the biggest thing is like less information, more doing, right? So we're gonna come here, I'll give you 20 minutes, and then you go for 10 minutes and do it. And what happens is a few things. One, they realize how much they don't know yet, because how much can you really do in 10 minutes or even 15 minutes, right? Even if I give you like a really small task, hey, go to Canva and create this graphic. You're gonna be looking at the pictures and the images and the colors and the stuff, right? By the end of it, you have something, and now you go back and you go like, Yifat, look at this. Is it good? Is it not good, right? You need that feedback. And when you move the event from me talking and showing you how smart I am to me telling you, go get the bread, we're gonna make peanut butter and jelly. By the end of it, you go like, fantastic, I can make peanut butter and jelly, let's move to omelets. And that is my next course, omelet creation.
And here it is for $97.
Here it is, you can get it there.
Take my course on omelet making. Oh, yes, love that. And you're saying that that's your best tip for filling events is shifting from like, hear me speak to like, let's go do this together, because that is going to be the thing that gets people to want to register. Yeah.
If you think about this, right, most people are getting stuck in the doing, right? Because we're afraid to fail, especially new people, right? And we hate doing this publicly because we don't want everybody to see us failing. So we don't even try, right? Because, oh my God. But if you take it to Zoom and you're doing breakout rooms and in the privacy of your own Zoom event, you're breaking out to rooms, and all of a sudden you realize, man, I'm not the only idiot in the room. They're having a challenge with this too, and they're having a challenge with this too, and we're overcoming together. And now it becomes this thing of like, wow, I finished the event with a book in my hand. Now I need to market it. Oh, she's marketing books. Let me go with her, right? It changes the entire dynamic. And I think you and I met at Michael Roderick event, right? Mm-hmm. So if you guys don't know about this, this is a monthly meeting where they're doing just that, networking in breakout rooms and people actually talking to each other and building these connections. So, and everybody's showing up. Why? Because they're so much fun. You get to meet people and it's not a lecture. You don't have to sit there going like, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was amazing. And I'm so glad we met. Okay. So what's the best thing about hosting events for you?
For me, it's the light bulb. It's the just seeing the people, you know, starting somewhere and ending somewhere else. The last one I did was a 5-day challenge from A to Z without the BS in the middle. So it's kind of like, how do we start with nothing and we end up with a website, an email list, a lead magnet, going live, everything in 5 days. And when we started, people didn't even know how to record a video on their phone and upload it to YouTube. I'm like, really? And then I'm like, the stuff I take for granted, right? and then by the end of it, they're doing lives and they're creating lead magnets and all that stuff. And that transformation to me, that was like, wow, people now have faith in themselves that they can move on and actually make their dreams a reality. And that is the most satisfying feeling ever. And I love to teach.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite moment at every event where you're like, this is my favorite part?
I think people coming back from the breakout rooms and going like, what did we learn? Right?
Mm.
Because it's really interesting. You think one thing and then they come up with something completely different. You're like, hey, everybody should be on this page. And then you realize, oh no, I missed 2 steps before. It's kind of like, hey, put the peanut butter on. There's no knife. Oh yeah. Next time, remember, bring the knife. Stuff, right? So what's fun about this as content creators and courses and coaches and all that stuff is that most of the time when we create a course in silo, we try to think about all these things, but we're already experts. We don't even know what kindergarten is struggling with, right? And so we go in creating this expert course and people come in and go like, oh no, right? But when you do it this way, you go like, oh yeah, forgot the knife. Everybody, bring the knife. Okay, now we're moving on. And then by the end of it, you have an entire course because you discovered along the way what people need specifically to create peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, and that's such a great point you're making that you can create a course live
Yeah.
on your first try because of this whole peanut butter and jelly thing, which is just so. I love the description. It gets at the heart of teaching and it's so simple. Thank you.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is like we're so busy. Everybody wants to look good, right? Like, and that is our biggest fear. That was mine, right? When I started, I was like, I don't want to look stupid, right? I know I should, but I don't, what if they, and when the whole focus is on you, everything sets in anxiety, panic, how my hair, my clothes, my pants, my thing, my makeup, my hair, everything, right? But when you shift that, and now you're instead of selling, you're serving, completely different dynamic. And people feel that. And then you don't have to sell. All you have to say is like, okay, who wants more?
So good. So good. I'd love to know what you're reading right now.
I listen to a lot of audiobooks on YouTube, the YouTube University. And I listen to Tim Ferriss Tools. And after I listened to it, I was like, okay, I need to get the book. So the book is like this thick. And it's basically, he summarized all his interview and everything and just got the best points from every interview. And it's about 3-section: body, mind, and I think business or something. See how good I read it? But he like, you just read it like it's not continuous. You just open and you read the one article and then you can switch it. So that's really working for me because building a business, it's hard for me to stay through. So it's just like, okay, what do I need for today? Really cool stuff in there.
I think there's so much truth in what you just said about how building a business, you really need to stay laser focused on what do I need right now? Because when we try to accumulate all of the information that we're going to need for the whole journey, it just really weighs us down and slows us down from making progress. We do really need like the nugget at a time, which is why, again, goes back to your whole like, let's make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich one step at a time in a live workshop, why it's so impactful and for your guests.
And if you think about it, nobody's teaching how to make a peanut butter and jelly. Either we assume that you already know, or we're so general because we're afraid this is what we're selling. We're selling how to make it. So we're afraid that if we're going to tell you you need a knife, now you don't need it and you're going to figure it out on your own. And the thing is like, once you have the peanut butter and jelly, now you want something else. You're like, okay, I'm done with it. So every time you solve an issue, there's another issue that comes out because of that issue. You can never, like you just said, you can't know the entire journey at one time. It's always the next step. But if you gave them the next step, they want to take the next step with you, right? So give them complete peanut butter and jelly. Don't leave out the knife. Let them have their own thing. Enjoy it. Feel the nutritional, value of the whole thing. And then they go like, now I'm ready for creme brulee. I never made creme brulee, so that's why my biggest thing. I'm like, how do you make it? I don't know.
Creme brulee is delicious, and now I want to go figure out how to make it.
How to make one, right?
So, what have you got going on right now that Lynchpin Nation should know about, and where can they find you?
So I have come to the realization that a lot of people want to go online right now. We have the great resignation. People are coming on and they get overwhelmed with all the options. And they're really afraid to take the next step. And most of the reasons why is because when we start, right, our business is our baby and it's a reflection of ourselves. And we kind of feel like everybody's judging me. So I took the best of my trainings and I'm like, okay, what about I teach you how to make $1,000 a month in 90 days by providing a service to other people. Now, I'm not saying this will be the forever service. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying like, let's make the money, get the experience, and then I'll help you build your own dreams or whatever it is that you want to do. But you'll know by the end of it that you can do it, that you have a peanut butter and jelly in your hand, right? And when you're starting your business, you'll start from abundance because money is already going to be flowing in. So it's called $1,000 in 90 days. You can find it on fromseen2soldout.com, 1,000. I'd love to, I'm launching this in beta for the new year, about 20, 30 people. Same reason why we talked about, right? We're going to do it together. It's going to be a quarter of the price of what it's going to end up being. But you get to work with me in real time to get $1,000 a month from providing a service to business owners.
Oh, I love that. And we'll link up that that URL in the show notes. Anywhere else where they should find you aside from
Yes, if
there?
you want to come to our show and if you want to pick my brain and Josh's brain and you have one questions about marketing or sales, Leaders Rising Up. We're starting that show in January. Love to have you. Watch it, be a part of it, share it, show up. And on my Telegram, I'll share with you my Telegram link. It's a marketing channel where you can just get a bunch of me without the algorithm interrupting you.
Oh, awesome. I'll put that in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for being here today, Yifat. I really appreciate it.
Me too.
Thank you for listening to the Green Room Central podcast. If you loved this episode, then please take a screenshot on your phone and post it to Instagram and be sure to tag @SarahPfeiffer and let me know why you liked it and what you'd like to hear or who you'd like to hear from in the future. That'll help me to know what to create for you. If right now you're thinking, Sarah, yes, an event is going to happen, but here's the thing, I have a sizable team who can make this happen, but we need someone to teach us how. Then go to sarahpfeiffer.com right now to book a private workshop. You'll get a customized 2-day virtual workshop for your team. During the workshop, everyone will learn a repeatable framework that can be used to start or scale events in your business. You'll then create a roadmap as a team so that everyone leaves the workshop with a shared vision for how to move forward with confidence. On average, I spend about an hour a day reading every month of every year. If you love learning on the go as much as I do, go to greenroomcentral.com to get a free audiobook and a free 30-day trial of Audible, my audiobook platform of choice. Try Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss like Yifat, or one of my favorite books on productivity, Michael Hyatt's Free to Focus. I appreciate your commitment to leveling up and learning the mindset and strategy of live events. Keep going. Keep learning. If you want more, head over to greenroomcentral.com for show notes and all the links from today's episode.